I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call it quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve. Shield my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't hit, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. They don't wonder when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem, man. Perfect, let them watch me. Elevating, got them nauseous. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving ain't the option. Woo! Watch out, get ahead. Watch out, get ahead. Watch out, get ahead. Woo!
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to UFC 272 Best Bet. We have Jorge Masvidal going against Colby Covington, and we have a very good fight card. I'm looking forward to it. As always, I am here with Eric, Wheezy, and Narco. We'll start with you, Eric. Eric, are you looking forward to this pay-per-view card?
I am super looking forward to it, and for one very particular reason. I am actually attending the fights today.
Ooh,
I have an Uber set to pick me up in about an hour, so as soon as the show's done here, I'm heading down to T-Mobile. So if you don't currently follow me on Twitter, make sure you do, because I'll be posting some pics and videos and stuff today, I'm sure.
Nice. You're going to an awesome card. You're going to enjoy that. Wheezy, how about you looking forward to this card?
Yeah, looking forward to this, but I can't top what Erik's going to be doing today. I'm going to be sitting on my couch watching these fights, but it doesn't really matter, man. We got a lot of great spots that are sticking out this week. I think we can all make some money, so that's always the end goal here. So let's do it, man.
Let's do it. And last but not least, we have Narco Cop. Narco, are you looking forward to this card?
Oh yeah, man. This is going to be a great card. There's some really good fights on this card, and I foresee a lot of violence.
Let's go. That's what I like to hear. That is always what I like to hear. Before we get started, if you guys can please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. And I do want to say thank you guys so much for 14,000 subscribers. I was not expecting to get it today, but you guys are awesome with hitting the subscribe. Does mean a lot. What I also did was I put Eric, Wheezy, and Narco's channel in the description. Please go show them the love. This show would not be anything without them, so go subscribe to them. And I also put the link to the new MMA Engine YouTube channel. Please go subscribe there. Almost 200 subscribers. Appreciate that as well, guys. So let's shout out the chat real quick and we'll get started. We have a lot to go through. We have Andy, first one in the chat. We have Daz Files as well. Wasim PMFA Nicholas. We have a Nick in the chat as well. Mike, Hype MMA, Bimmer Dude, Addicted to Combat, Stellar, Dale, JT Falcon, Ryan. And I think we covered everything. Bill as well. What is up, guys? Thank you all for hanging out. As always, we go live every Saturday, 1 hour prior to the prelims. And I agree, Mac. Let's get it. And we'll start with the very first fight of the night. And it's weird. It seems like the last month or so, pretty much all year, it feels like I have not had a bet on the first fight of the night, and it's not going to change here. I do not have a bet on this fight, but I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts on this one. We'll start with you, Wheezy. Wheezy, what is your best bet for the first fight of the night?
Yeah, this is an interesting one, man. I don't have a bet on this, but I'm actually thinking about pulling the trigger. Fight doesn't go to decision. Minus 145 right now, you guys, on Bet Online. Between Oleksiejczuk and Jacoby, these guys have been finished in 7 of 9 combined losses. And the long-term finish rate for the 205-pound division is at a 62% clip. So this line is underpriced according to the benchmark. And then when you go into the, the combined losses happening 7 of 9 times, 77%, that correlates to an over minus 300 line. So at minus 145, fight doesn't go feels like a solid bet here.
Fight doesn't go for Wheezy. Narco, how about you? What are you looking at for this first fight of the night?
Yeah, I'm on the other end. I actually have a bet on Jacoby at minus 182. I just think, bigger ring here. He's got the length here against Mikal. Mikal, if you watch his fight against Bukauskas, who was a taller guy, he tends to follow a lot, and that was in a small ring. Now we got a bigger ring. Jacoby knows how to circle well. Jacoby's the much better technical striker. Leg kicks are going to be there for him. Outside of Mikal finding a big left hand, and we've known Jacoby to be very durable. And so to me, Jacoby points looks really good at plus 240 because The one thing I did notice about Jacoby is he's not much of a killer. He doesn't go for the kill. I think he had Allen hurt a couple of times in that fight, and you just don't see that killer instinct for the finish there. So Mikel's never been knocked out. He's extremely durable. Give me Jacoby points plus 240.
So a little bit of disagreement there. I'm going to go with Jacoby at minus 180. I don't have a ton of confidence in it. I did not have a bet on it, but I just feel like he's going to be the bigger fighter, height and reach advantage, the more natural light heavyweight. And I really like the tools he has on the feet, especially with those leg kicks as well. I feel like he's going to kind of outpoint Mikel, potentially knock him out late as well. So just give me the Jacoby money line, but not a ton of confidence in it. Eric, you like anything on this first fight?
Yeah, if I was looking to make a bigger bet here, like at least a full unit or something, I'd probably be looking at either the Jacoby money line or Jacoby by decision. But as far as doing something a little more froggy, which is what I decided to do here, I actually put, I think it was 0.2 units on Oleksiejczuk in round 1, which I think I got at plus 1050 or so. I think, besides the Bukauskas fight, Oleksiejczuk is obviously kind of a round 1 finisher. I do think he has the kind of style that can make Jacoby a little uncomfortable, maybe at least until he kind of figures it out. So obviously it's unlikely, and that shows in the line, but I went for it.
There you go, taking a shot in that first round KO. I don't hate it. Let us move on to the next fight of the night, and we do have Devontae Smith going against Rudovic Klein. What are they doing here on best fight odds? Rudovic Klein. Narco, who you got, Rudovic Klein or Devontae Smith?
I got violence.
Hey.
This is the fight that, Devontae Smith comes out very hard early. He hits extremely hard. He's a good striker. But the one thing we know about Devontae Smith is when adversity starts hitting him, the guy just tends to crumble. And we see it, in the last couple of fights. We also see in the last couple of fights where he hurts the guys in the first round. So we know he hits very hard. We know Rudovic Klein's been stopped before. Yeah, albeit it's been by submission. But Smith hits very hard. But if I don't see that first round knockout coming from Smith, I do see him eventually wilting to Klein, because Klein does have decent cardio and he does put some pressure on you. So, this fight doesn't go to distance, is minus 190. I still think there's value there. I still would play it at that number. I just don't see how this fight goes the full distance.
Yep, I am right there with you. The same thing, minus 190. Fight doesn't go to decision. I mean, we just take a look at their finish rates, right? Like Devontae Smith, win or loss has never been the distance. 14 professional fights, 100% finish rate, 91% by knockout, and then 9% by submission. And the thing with Devontae Smith, I think this guy has all the talent in the world. It's just the durability that really concerns me. He has been knocked out 3 times. Rudovic Klein, he's a very good finisher in his own right. Only won 1 decision in 21 professional fights, a 94% finish rate. 47% by knockout, 47% by submission. I'm with you. I think someone's getting finished here. I don't really feel confident in a side, but I do feel confident saying there's probably going to be some violence. So right there with you, Narco. Weezy, what are you looking at for this fight?
Yeah, I'm not going to be original, you guys. Minus 190, fight doesn't go. 24 of these guys, 25 combined wins have been inside the distance. That's 96%. That's that. If you just price the line based on that number, and that's a big sample size, 25 combined fights, you would be well over like minus 1,500 for the fight doesn't go. So yeah, fight doesn't go to decision. Plus, it's a southpaw versus orthodox fight. Mm-hmm. So both of these guys' biggest weapon, the straight right for Devontae, the big left head kick for Klein, going to be wide open for business. I love that line.
Definitely good points there. So 3 in a row. Eric, are you going to make it 4 in a row? Or are you going with something else here?
Yeah, believe it or not, on my notes here next to best bet, I have fight doesn't go the distance, minus 190. So, yep, I was looking at the exact same thing. If I was going to bet a side here, though, I would bet Klein. If I'm not mistaken, I think Klein has never been finished by strikes, and Smith has been finished by strikes in 2 of his last 3. So, yeah, if I was going to pick a side, I'd do that, but I like that fight doesn't go the distance.
Yeah, it's hard for me to bet a side there as well. But yeah, fight doesn't go probably feels like the safe route. Let us move on to the next fight. We have Tim Elliott going against Tagir Ulanbekov. We will let you kick this one off. Weezy, what do you like for this fight here?
I'm not touching this one with my money, but when I was looking at it, it just feels like the Tagir money line at minus 215 is a pretty safe bet. I just haven't seen enough out of Elliott to figure out how he beats somebody that's as good or a better wrestler than he is. So, and I think that's the case here with Tagir. So at minus 215 on Bet Online, I think that's a pretty safe way to play it, even though I'm staying away from this fight as a whole.
Yeah, I don't have a bet on this fight as well, but that fight goes to decision sitting on FanDuel Sportsbook at -148. It really does stick out to me. I guess the only thing that's holding me back from placing a bet on that line would be that Tim Elliott has been submitted like 5 or 6 times, but you look and see who he's getting submitted by, and it's very good guys. So I think outside of an Ulanbekov submission, I think this fight does go the distance. So yeah, -148, it doesn't seem that bad, but I did not officially pull the trigger on that. Narco, what are you looking at for this fight?
That's the one I pulled the trigger on. It's -148. I think this fight goes to decision a big percentage of the time. Ulanbekov, I have a bet on him in a parlay at -211. And to be honest, I kind of echo exactly what Weezy said. Like, people are shitting on this guy because he had really close decisions against Bruno Silva and Nascimento. But let me tell you guys something. Both those guys are extremely good. Nascimento, even though he's a big dog, and when I taped that fight, I didn't understand the big line because I did see a lot of talent in Nascimento. So I didn't understand it. Nascimento's a very good fighter. Bruno Silva's actually, a really good fighter himself, like both standing and on the ground. So like Tim Elliott, I know he's a veteran. I know he's faced the best guys, but go back and look who he's beat lately. Like, it's not the who's who of MMA. Like, we're talking about guys that, are just not that good. And they're not even in the UFC anymore. So, I like the Ulanbekov side, but I don't think Ulanbekov finishes Elliott, because the one thing he is very durable. And, you're getting a -148. I really like that line.
Yeah, I do like it as well. Eric, what are you looking at for this fight here?
I was kind of all over the place on this one. In my notes where I usually type my best bet, I ended up typing like 5 bets because I couldn't really settle on something. I do like Ulanbekov to win. If I was going to bet him, I'd probably bet him by decision, which was at like +140 last time I looked. Do kind of play that game where you're turning the big favorite into a dog there. I actually did end up taking a little poke on Tim Elliott's money line when he got up to +200. I kind of wish I would have actually ended up betting him by decision instead, which was at like +350. But sometimes I do that thing where I see a number and I just click it, and then I think about it and I'm like, oh, I probably didn't come at that the best way. But yeah, I don't mind a bet on Ulanbekov by decision or even Elliott by decision, because I do think it's likely going to go to decision, and I think it could play out pretty closely.
Yeah, I think that's a solid way to play it for sure. Let's keep moving on, though. If you guys can please leave a like. We're up to 264 of you in the chat. It would mean a ton. We will move on to the next fight. We have Brian Kelleher going against Umar Nurmagomedov. It looks like Umar is surpassing the -1,000 mark on a few books here. Weezy, are you going with Umar? Maybe a hot take here?
Yeah, dude, listen, I wanted to really talk about it because I do like Umar to win this fight, you guys. Several reasons. Give me a few minutes here. No. I actually got Umar on a parlay way earlier this week when he was like -625. Parlayed him with somebody that we're going to talk about a little bit later, who was my ass shaving of the week. But for this one, there's no value on that money line, so I wouldn't even parlay Umar at -1,000 or -1,100. But fight doesn't go to decision, -120 on DraftKings, and that just covers Umar's dominance here. And Kelleher has been submitted, and I believe half of his pro losses, and that's really how Nurmagomedov does his best work. But I think Nurmagomedov's even better on the feet here too. So I think if you get the fight doesn't go, it covers the Nurmagomedov finish, and it also covers, the fact that Kelleher's very dangerous. He can land a big punch. He's got a great guillotine. You never know. So at -120 for fight doesn't go, I think that's a better way to play this, where you have to lay down way less money to get a better return.
Yep, I went the same exact thing, -120 there. I think it's kind of smart. I mean, you take a look at, like, what is Umar inside the distance? Umar inside the distance is +100, -115. I mean, you might as well just pay the -120. It covers, like, if Kelleher wins, it's not going to be a decision. If Kelleher wins, it's going to either be maybe a knockout or a guillotine. So I think more than likely Umar is going to, probably submit Brian Kelleher at some point. Like you said, Kelleher has been submitted like 6 times in his career, and Umar is no joke on the ground. So yeah, I think Umar gets it done probably inside the distance, but I think the fight doesn't go at -20, covers a lot of outcomes there. Eric, how about you? What are you liking for this fight?
Yeah, I think that's the one I'd have to lean toward as well. I looked through all the props for this fight just kind of a few minutes before the show here. I looked through everything to see if there was any way that you could bet Umar here, just any number that made sense. And he's just such a huge favorite that nothing, even Umar by sub was at, I think plus 170 or something like that, which is, yeah, there just wasn't really any way to come at him that makes sense because he is such a huge favorite. So yeah, I think I would have to go with that fight doesn't go the distance too if I was going to bet anything here.
Sounds good to me. And then finally, Narco, what do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, no hot take, but I like Nurmagomedov by submission at plus 210. I just think there's a little bit of value there. Like 6 of his 13 wins are by submission. He's only got 1 knockout. And if you watch his tape, like the guy, when he gets you on the ground, he's constantly hunting the back, trying to get that back. And I think if he gets Kelleher's back, it's about a wrap. So I think he gets there. I think he gets the takedowns. You know, I don't want to say this line is warranted because minus 1,000 is probably never, ever warranted in MMA, to be honest. But, you know, I just think he's going to run over Kelleher. And, you know, the submission prop at plus 210 when, you know, that's what he just hunts for usually when it's on the ground. I'm going to take my shot with that and turn a minus 1,000 or minus 800 into plus 210.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I do like that line, plus 210 by submission. It's a lot better than, you know, of course, laying the minus 1,100. That's nuts. But we'll move on to the next fight. We have Maria Agapova going against Marina Moroes. We will stick with you, Narco. What are you liking for this fight here?
I'm torn on this fight, to be honest. I don't have a bet. It's just that, you know, Agapova, there's a lot of bad blood, but then you see the weigh-ins and, you know, they're shaking hands, and I'm not so sure if there is a lot of bad blood. But we've seen Maria Agapova adrenaline dump before. Since there's bad blood here, you know, she's talking about how she wants to kill her in the ring, get her out of there, and blah, blah, blah. I could honestly see another cardio dump from this girl, adrenaline dump, because she's not the smartest, you know, person out there in the ring, and I don't know about her fight IQ. And the other thing is, you know, she had a good win against Mazo, and then all of a sudden, this girl's like everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. Like, you know, I'm not so sure of that yet. So Marina Moroes, the one thing she is very tough. She has good cardio. She has a lot of volume. If I'm to take anything here, I'm taking the plus 155, to be honest with you. I just, you know, I'm not going to lay minus 190 on a girl that, you know, is one fight in the UFC.
Yep, I mean, I'm going with the same thing, Marina Moroes. I think this is a very close fight. You know, on the feet, I think it's very close. You have the volume of Moroes, and then you have the power of Agapova. But I think an interesting aspect of this fight would be if Moroes is able to get Agapova on the mat. I really liked what I saw from Moroes in terms of when she gets fighters to the ground. I mean, they're not getting up. Her top control's legit. And I went back and watched the Agapova-Dobson fight, and yes, of course, it's concerning she lost to Dobson, but it was even more concerning was Dobson took her down with like in the first 30 seconds of that fight when she was fresh. So I think if Moroes gets on top here, she can win minutes. I think on the feet, she can win minutes. Could Agapova knock her out? I'm not so sure. I mean, she's the Iron Lady for a reason there. So I think it goes to decision probably. I think it's close. So I will take the plus 152 at this point on Moroes. Wheezy, what do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, you know, I don't have a bet on it. You know, what I came up with was minus 225 on DraftKings. Fight starts round 3. Both these ladies are tough, and it looks like Maria learned how to pace herself a little bit here against Mazo. And if she doesn't let the moment and the rivalry get to her, I think she'll pace herself again. Moroes is notoriously tough to finish. And Maria, if she does pace herself, I think that this fight will go the full 3 rounds. So at minus 225, fight starts round 3 is the way that I would go here.
Yeah, I like that. Even like the fight goes to decision, I don't hate as well. I think there could be some value on that. Eric, what are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, I think it's tough to feel confident either way on this one. I do like Agapova to win. Largely based on, you know, I just think she's more powerful. I think she's just kind of a more physical fighter and just plain meaner, you know? I mean, so sometimes it's okay to like take that into account. Like she's just kind of mean and it's going to look to hurt her, I think. As far as a bet, I had to get a little bit crazy on this one. I have hit a couple of these lately, and I've kind of started doing one for each card, so I did it here. Obviously, Agapova won by sub in round 3 in her last fight. That was against Sabina Mazo, so, you know, pretty low level, so you can't really make the comparison too much. But I did put a tiny sprinkle on Agapova by sub in round 3 at plus 1,700.
1,700. Let's see if you hit that. That'd be a big hit. Lou's saying, Eric, I need you to tell me you're confident. Lou is very high on Agapova this week.
All right. Yep. Round 3. Bet the house on it.
There you go. Lou's happy with that. Let us keep moving on to this next fight. And I have kind of a hot take. I mean, this fight is an absolute mess. Me and Uncle Weezy were talking on Stat Diggers how, we should this should be like a TV show, like the Three Stooges or something. Weezy, how about you talk about that a little bit? Because I think talking about that is more exciting than talking about this fight.
Yeah, we talked about the fact that, like with Kennedy and Nikolai, with Nikolai, you actually have something that's almost statistically impossible to do at this level. And that's have a striking defense that's below 30%. And my friend Nikolai does have that, a 29% and change striking defense. Dude, anybody could hit this guy. An ant could hit this guy in the face. So he can't dodge anything. And then you got Kennedy, who has no process to his game. He goes out there with the Homer Simpson defense, keeps his hands up, throws no volume, voluntarily gives up every first round by doing absolutely nothing. And I don't think the Homer Simpson defense works in this fight because, Nick's got pretty good conditioning and he pushes a pace. So I think that the best bet for this fight is that your Uncle Weezy's going to be laughing his ass off watching it the entire time because I'll have no money on it. I will have no stake in it. And I'm just going to laugh at these guys beating the crap out of each other. I don't know who's going to win, but here's what I would do. If you made me bet on this fight, I would just take the Nick money line. Both these guys are not great, but one of them you're getting plus money on, and that's Nick. And second of all, Nick actually looks like he has a process when he goes out there. He knows that he's got a good chin. He trusts it. He moves forward and he throws a ton of volume and he tries to knock you out. That's more of a game plan than Kennedy and Nchekwu has ever had in his career. And for me, that's good enough. I actually kind of like, even though I won't be betting this fight, as the weeks went on longer, I like the Negumereanu plus money more and more.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. For me, I'm actually going to go with fight ends in a draw plus 6,600. And I feel like, I know we say this a lot every week. I feel like this is actually live. Like I can see a scenario where Kennedy comes out, he shells up for the entire first round. He gets his ass whooped for 5 minutes. Negumereanu slows down, and then Kennedy, wins the second and third round draw. Or the other scenario is, Negumereanu wins round one. He wins round two, and then he slows down, and then Kennedy gets a 10-8 in round three. So rather than, betting on this fight, seriously, I think I'd rather just take a little poke at that draw. So I know we say at least one each week. I feel like this one is actually somewhat live. So Eric, what are you liking for this fight?
I think you made a great argument for that draw, Brady. I like that.
Yeah.
A little sprinkle on that. That's fun.
I think I might too, man.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, as far as a breakdown, I would echo a lot of what Weezy said. And I did actually bet Negumereanu's money line earlier in the week when he was at, I think, plus 120. I looked at it today and I saw him at like plus 105, and I don't like it as much there. So I was looking as far as what it was at when I looked today. I was more interested in the over 1.5, which was at like minus 165. But yeah, I think this is such a weird fight. I kept going back and forth on, and I kind of settled on the same thing that Weezy said. At least Negumereanu is going to be coming forward and throwing punches and looking to finish the fight. Whereas, what is Kennedy going to do? Is he going to shell up and stand there for 5 minutes? Is he going to fight? You just don't know what the guy's going to do. So, as weird a fight as it is, I like the Negumereanu money line.
Yeah, Joshua bringing up a point deduction is live here as well. Remember the last fight? It was 2 fights ago with Kamer and Negumereanu, where he was grabbing the cage like 20 times, and the ref did not take a point. So I think that could be live as well. Narco, what do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, actually, I really like fight starts round 3 at minus 110. I have a bet at minus 105. Kennedy is, besides the fact that he got knocked out last time against Jung, the guy is durable. I mean, he's tough. He's durable. Negumereanu is an actual zombie because this guy just gets hit in the face and it's like keeps coming forward, like nothing affects him. So I do think both guys are extremely durable, but I will say a very good bet here, honestly, is fight ends in split decision by plus 700. And I'll explain really quickly why. Kennedy always gives up round one. He shells up, he lets you hit him, he gives up round one. Nicolau is going to win round one a good majority of time. When you get to round 3, Kennedy throws a lot of volume and has very good cardio for a big guy in round 3. We do see Nikolai slowing down in round 3. So I expect round 3 to go to Kennedy a big portion of the time. So now you got that second round, and I honestly think it's a toss-up. It's a 50-50 round. So getting a split decision here, a plus 700 either way, I don't think is bad at all, because I do think this fight goes probably the distance.
Yep, I like that as well. I mean, this is a very greasy fight. I like that fight starts round 3 call. Both these guys are very, very durable.
Can I say something, Brady?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, dude. You know, after I said that I would not be betting this fight, when you got 3 other sharp minds and me on this panel, sometimes you got to listen to them. I just put 1/10 of a unit on the draw. This fight is so funny. I could actually see it being like a Three Stooges themed. Just, we can't let either one of you guys win. That was so bad. And draw. So I'm looking to win 6.6 units on a 1/10 of a unit bet. Let's go,
dude. I mean, it's live. I think it's so live. I think the split decision is live as well. I mean, who knows what's going to happen in this fight? But yeah, it should be hilarious. We'll see what happens there. All right, next we have Weezy's main event: Marina Rodriguez, Yan Xiaonan. Weezy, I heard a rumor that Marina is indeed your ass shaving of the week.
You got that right, buddy. And if Marina Rodriguez gets finished, I'm going to be crashing on somebody's couch because I am going to be homeless, you guys. I have got a max bet on the Marina Rodriguez finish only prop. I got it earlier in the week at minus 260. And I also have a 3.2 unit parlay that I got earlier in the week at minus 160, which was Umar Nurmagomedov and the Marina Rodriguez money line. Yan Xiaonan is not a minute winner on the feet, on the ground. And that's really been the only place when you watch the tape on Marina Rodriguez, she is not giving up minutes on the feet to anybody. And she has fought better competition than Yan Xiaonan. So I really do see her winning all the striking exchanges. As far as I know, and from the tape that I watched, you know, Yan Xiaonan has 1 takedown against somebody not named Karolina Kowalkiewicz. So, you know, this is a 7-fight sample size. And in that 7-fight sample size, she's got less than 10% control time. I don't know where she wins minutes here. And if she's not able to get this fight to the ground, I honestly think it's just a matter of time before Marina finishes her. So since you can't get any of those lines where I got them earlier in the week, I'll just say Marina Rodriguez inside the distance, you guys, plus 250.
Plus 250 inside the distance. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with a lot of what you're saying here. I don't think Yan Xiaonan is going to take down Rodriguez. And if she does, I don't really see her having much success on the mat. And I think this fight stays on the feet for 15 minutes. I think that, you know, the volume is going to probably be competitive, but I just think the harder shots are going to be coming from Rodriguez. I think she could potentially finish Yan. She's so dangerous on the feet. But if it does go the distance, I think she can win, you know, just based on damage. You know, Yan, she throws a lot of volume, but she doesn't hit that hard where we know Marina is going to hit very hard. So I'm going to go with Rodriguez just as a parlay piece. I don't know whether she's going to finish Yan. I don't know if she's going to win by decision, but I do feel comfortable saying that Rodriguez will get her hand raised somehow. Narco, what do you like for this fight?
Yeah, I love Marina Rodriguez. I normally never, if you've historically followed me, like I never bet minus 250s, minus 260s, but I honestly laid the minus 250 here with Marina Rodriguez. I have 5 units on it. I think it's complete domination on the feet. Yan just doesn't have the takedowns here. Like people are, you know, a lot of people see value at plus 220. I don't see any value in a 15-minute striking match against Marina Rodriguez, the crisper striker, the more power. I mean, you could just name it, and she's way better on the feet. Volume gets it done in low-level women's MMA, not at this level, because Marina Rodriguez is a really good striker. And I just think the harder shots, the more damaging shots are all going to come from Marina Rodriguez. And I honestly think minus 2, you know, now it's 270 or whatever. I have it at 250. I like it at 250 if you can get it, because I think she dominates. And the reason I didn't take her by decision is because I do think she can hurt Yan. She hits hard. And, you know, I just took the money line.
Okay, so 3 in a row there. Eric, are you on the Rodriguez side? Are you going the other way here?
Well, I'm going to have some fun and advocate for the devil a little bit since I'm going last.
There we go.
Yeah, I do think I agree for the most part with what you guys are saying, and I do lean Rodriguez to win here, but I do think that the fight could play out pretty closely. I mean, I think we're looking at a 15-minute striking battle here. I do agree that Rodriguez will probably land the bigger, more impressive looking strikes, but in a situation where, you know, if there's a possibility that Yan is landing more volume, last I looked, you could get Yan Xiaonan by decision at plus 300. In a fight that I do expect to go to decision and that I do expect to play out somewhat closely, I would probably take a look at that if I was going to bet it here.
Yeah, if Jan wins, it's going to be by decision. I don't think does she have maybe one finish on the UFC, right? Maybe one.
None finishes in the
Okay.
UFC, and
Yeah,
the girls that she was finishing on the regional scene were not UFC level.
Yeah, definitely. So I think if you do like Jan, I think the decision would probably be the best way to go, get a little more value there. But let's move on to the final fight on the prelims. We have Jalen Turner going against Jamie Mullarkey. I am really looking forward to this fight. We'll kick it with you, Eric. What do you like on this fight here?
Yeah, this is again one of those kind of like the Klein and Smith fight where I have a hard time really picking a side that I like here. I mean, these guys are both capable of knockouts. They're both pretty athletic. They both hit pretty hard. They're both going to be looking for the finish. I ended up liking, if I was going to bet something here, I ended up liking the over 1.5, which I saw at minus 145 last I looked. I mean, these guys do both tend to get finishes. They do both tend to get pretty early finishes, but I could see this being one of those fights where they end up sort of canceling each other out a little bit and the fight ends up going a little longer. So I don't mind that over 1.5.
Yeah, I think it could go over. I am going the violence route. I'm going to go with the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 200 on DraftKings. Still, I see it's moving to minus 250 on FanDuel, minus 230 on BetOnline. But I mean, these finish rates are very, very similar to Ludovic Klein, Devontae Smith. You have Jalen Turner, who in 16 professional fights, a 100% finish rate, 73% by knockout, 27% by submission. What I like about Turner is this guy's dangerous everywhere. You know, he has a ton of power in his hands. I believe he's a brown belt in BJJ, very good submissions as well. And Jalen Turner's also been knocked out 3 times, whereas you have Mullarkey, who has a 67% knockout rate, 27% by submission for 94% as well. So both guys are very good finishers. And then we see Mullarkey, he's been finished in 2 of his 4 losses, 2 coming by knockout. So I think someone gets finished here. If I had to pick a winner in this fight, it's going to be Jalen Turner, but I really do like that minus 200 fight doesn't go to decision on DraftKings Sportsbook. Narco, what do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, I kind of similar to Eric, man. Like I'm torn on who to take on this fight. I see paths for both guys. I think both guys, you know, Jalen Turner has decent cardio. You know, Mullarkey has really good cardio. To me, like on tape, I think both guys are pretty durable, especially Mullarkey. I kind of like the Mullarkey decision line, honestly, at plus 500, or the split decision even at plus 1800. He throws a lot of volume, pressure forward all the time. You know, if he's able to withstand some of those bombs from Turner, you know, and still be there, you know, I just favor him in the volume aspect and the pressure aspect. And I think he can get a decision here, and you're getting a big, big number.
That is a very big number. Mullarkey by decision for Narco. And then finally, Wheezy, what do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, I kind of went hard in the paint on Turner earlier in the week. I went 2.7 units on him at minus 135, but at minus 150, I mean, I think Mullarkey's a little bit too live at that price, and I wouldn't lay minus 150 now on Turner. So the way I would look at it is the same way you're looking at it, Brady. Minus 200, fight doesn't go to decision. 24 out of 25 combined wins inside the distance for these guys, 96%. Absolutely crazy. Both these guys are brutal. They both hit hard. And like I say, you know, even though Mullarkey and Turner are pretty tough, their styles really don't mesh well for going the full 15 here, because they're both so violent. And they've both got a ton of power. They're both landing significant strikes as knockdowns about 1.5% of the time. So, you know, I really do see this fight finishing inside the distance brutally. I've got a big bet on Jalen Turner. I think he gets it done here, but fight doesn't go at minus 200 is what I would recommend at this point.
There you go. Yeah, I do like that violent spot quite a bit. We have 643 of you guys in the chat. If you guys can please leave a like, subscribe here to the channel. Thank you again for 14,000 subs. I also linked down Eric, Wheezy, and Narco's YouTube channel as well. Go show them some love. Go subscribe to them. I also linked down in the description the new MMA Engine link as well. Me, Wheezy, Blue, and Monk are going to be on there each week doing a bunch of new content. So really do appreciate all the subs over there as well. And now we're going to move on to the main card, and let us kick it off with Greg Hardy going against Sergey Spivak. This should be a very fun one for as long as it lasts. We'll start with you, Eric. What are you liking for the first fight on the main card?
Yeah, I did actually go ahead and sprinkle a little prop here. It's been a minute since he's gotten one, but Greg Hardy is always live for that round 1 KO. Spivak's not great on the feet. He doesn't really like to get hit. So I was looking at the number. I got it at plus 550. And so I was thinking, like, all right, if Greg Hardy and Sergey Spivak fight 100 times, does Greg Hardy win by KO in round 1 more than 15 times? And I was like, I think he does. So I did go ahead and sprinkle 0.2. I think it was 0.2 of a unit at plus 550 there. As far as a pick, though, I do lean Spivak. I think you could sprinkle that round 1 KO for Hardy, and then you could also sprinkle Spivak to finish in round 2 and Spivak to finish in round 3, and you might be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I mean, I like that a lot. I totally agree. If this fight plays out 100 times, I see Hardy knocking him out in the first round, a decent amount. For me, I'll give 2 bets on this one because this is kind of how I played it. I got the fight won't start round 3. It's now minus 138 on FanDuel Sportsbook. First of all, I think there's a ton of value on that line. But what I also did was I sprinkled the 3rd round prop for Sergey Spivak because if this does go in the 3rd round, I think it's going to be Spivak who is live to win. I think Hardy is kind of round 1 or bust here, but really, I don't even see this going to round 3. I think this fight's going to end, pretty early, whether it is a Hardy first round knockout, and I really think it's going to take 1 takedown for this fight to be over. I think Hardy has good takedown defense, but his ground game is very, very bad, and I think if Spivak gets on top, it's going to be over there. So give me the fight won't start round 3, and honestly, I think there's value on these fight isn't good decision lines still. Minus 225 on DraftKings. It's just stylistically how these guys match up. It's really hard to see this one going the distance. Weezy, how about you? What do you like for this fight here?
Well, I like the exact same bets that you have because I tailed you earlier in the week, but we were talking about this one. We just really don't see how it sees the scorecards. Either Spivak catches a kick or, gets in on a double leg and gets his hands connected and gets this to the ground. And if he does, man, I mean, Greg Hardy's cutting, like 20 pounds to make 266, you guys. He was the last one to weigh in. If he does not get it done early, it's probably getting finished in the 2nd by Spivak. So, and you can just hedge that 3rd round if you bet the fight doesn't start round 3 by just betting the Spivak side, because a 300-pound man in Greg Hardy, which is damn near what he's going to be when he walks in there later on tonight, is not going to have 3-round cardio against a wrestler. So, this fight's going to finish inside the distance. I think any way you play it, you're going to make money on that.
I feel comfortable about that. Narco, how about you? What do you like for this fight here?
I'm going to start off by saying Spivak is terrible. His takedowns are terrible. Most of them are catching kicks and stuff like that. The other thing I do want to say is if Hardy is smart, he's not going to implement any kicking game here. He's going to want to leave it upright. And the guy has a lot of power. Spivak clearly doesn't like getting hit. And here if he gets hit, he's getting hit by a big, powerful guy. Hardy has good takedown defense. I just think this thing ends. If it stays standing for long, it ends. If it gets to the ground, honestly, Hardy's probably one of the worst to ever do it down there. So fight doesn't start round 3. Minus 138 is a golden line. Greg Hardy round 1 KO, to be honest, plus 600 is a very good line too. So I just see this fight ending. I'll be shocked if it goes 3 rounds. But you never know. It's MMA.
It is MMA. Anything can happen. Even Juliana Pena submitting Amanda Nunes. So, but yeah, I think violence is definitely the answer in this fight. But let's keep moving on. We have Alex Oliveira going against Kevin Holland. Should be a very fun fight. We'll kick this to Eric. Eric, what do you like for this fight here?
Man, this was another fight where my brain was all over the place. After I did my tape study and then did some reading and listened to some other opinions, everything made sense. I was like, this could happen. This could happen. Holland's, I don't even know what Holland's money line is at right now, at minus 300 or thereabouts or whatever. But I don't think you can mess with Holland's money line because he's just not a particularly trustworthy fighter. Is he the better fighter here? Yeah, I think so. I actually did put a unit on Cowboy Oliveira against my better judgment. Oliveira is one of those guys I think it's a winnable fight for him. I do. You can't ever trust him to prioritize winning over being a goofball and having fun, which is definitely something that concerns me here. But I think if Cowboy Oliveira went in there and his entire focus was, I'm going to win this fight, I think he could. But he's just so in his mind, he just kind of falls apart or doesn't care or this or that or whatever. But yeah, I actually did bet on his money line. I'm not excited that I did that. I'd probably take it back if I could, but there it is. I did it.
Hey, you're on an island. Let's see if you can do it, man, because a lot of people are very high on Kevin Holland. But I kind of agree in the sense that this line is now getting crazy. Like, I saw Holland at minus 230. I was like, hey, I kind of like that, but do I really want to lay minus 230 on somebody like Kevin Holland, who's probably going to go in there and mess around a lot? Not really. And now he's like minus 350 on Bet Online. I see minus 400 as well. So yeah, I'm not touching that money line, but what I do like is going to be Holland to win inside the distance. I see it at minus 125 on DraftKings Sportsbook. And, the narrative I always had with Cowboy in the last couple of years is like, which Cowboy is going to show up? Is it going to be, the motivated Cowboy, the Cowboy that's going to go in there and look good? Or is it going to be the bad Cowboy, the unmotivated Cowboy? And, as of late, last couple fights, it looks like the bad Cowboy is now, I think, 34 years old, 35 years old, kind of looks checked out. He's been finished 7 times at this point, 6 coming by submission as well. I think Holland's going to be dangerous everywhere. Black belt and BJJ, power in his hands. I think he finishes Oliveira at some point, but instead of laying like the minus 400 at this point, I really do like Holland inside the distance at minus 125. And I also did not mind the submission prop. Earlier in the week, it was like plus 850. I see it still around plus 650. Again, Kevin Holland, black belt and BJJ, and Oliveira has been submitted 6 times. So I don't hate the inside the distance, and I don't hate the submission as well. Narco, how about you? What are you liking for this fight here?
So, if you got Holland at minus 245, congrats to you. If you're betting Holland at minus 380, shame on you, because how can you trust this guy? Like, he's messing around, for half the fight. He's talking to DC. It's just not a guy you ever want to lay this type of number with. And I know all these rumors about Cowboy Oliveira is there for a paycheck, and he gives up. But watching his fights, and I taped this pretty hard, like the Nico Price fight, right? It was 1-1 going into the third. He was winning that round up until he got taken down with like 30 seconds left, right? So I think he fought hard in that fight. And then you go back a couple of fights later, against Randy Brown, like he was engaging. He actually messed up Randy Brown's lead leg until he got caught with a huge punch. And then this fight before that against Shafkat, he just got caught in a guillotine. Like, I don't think the guy is giving up. He's coming in, he's making weight. He's definitely training. He's getting older. Obviously, there's a lot of wear and tear. I do favor Holland here for sure. I think the Holland, inside the distance is probably the best play here at minus 120. I think he does stop him eventually. I think it's most likely by KO, because Holland just doesn't grapple much. Like, he's not really proactively grappling. If he does get a sub, it's probably from Cowboy proactive grappling and him landing like a guillotine or something. But other than that, I think Holland KO is probably the way to go. So inside the distance at minus 125 is probably better, because you're not really getting much value with just a KO. So yeah, Holland inside distance minus 125.
Sounds good. Right there with you. Wheezy, are you laying the minus 400 on the fight IQ of Kevin Holland?
Not a chance, man. I'm just not. I don't have a bet on this fight. Holland at minus 230 would have made sense. At this line, I seriously, like, I would never bet on Alex Oliveira, and I would never lay minus 400 on Kevin Holland. All the things that Narco Cop just talked about. This guy is definitely live to pull a stunt here. So let me be clear. I'm not touching this fight with a 10-foot pole, but if I was putting together like an 8-leg parlay, I'd probably just put my hand over my eyes and just say, all right, I'll put the Holland money line in there,
Yeah.
But god damn, there's no way I'm touching it.
Yeah, sounds good to me for sure. I think Holland does win this fight, but we'll see what happens. It's hard to trust the guy, especially at a price like this. But let's move on to this next fight. And for me, like, this is the toughest fight to call on the card, at least for me. I'm really curious to hear you guys' thoughts on this, but we'll start with you, Weezy. What are you liking for Bryce Mitchell versus Edson Barboza?
So, I've been on Bryce Mitchell all week. I know that there's some, like, dude, I did a balls deep breakdown and I had no idea. And talk about a perfect name, the balls deep breakdown. And then we find out that this dude put a drill into his balls. I don't even, what are the odds of that? I didn't even know it. And like, people are like, yeah, he like tore his sack with a power drill. And I'm like, no, he didn't. Nobody could do that, because it's just like, you could be 3 years old, and 3-year-olds are dumbasses. They would never put a drill anywhere near their nutsack because they would just have the instinct to say it doesn't go there. It never goes there. There's never any good reason to put it there. but evidently it happened. And then now we got this thing on his arm where there's a bruise there and he might have a torn bicep or some shit. Man, I don't know, dude. But I mean, I've been on Bryce all week because I love the commitment to the wrestling that he brings. And when, sometimes people think, oh, well, his wrestling isn't that good. If you constantly commit to the wrestling, it just drowns your opponent. And Mitchell has always been that guy. If you watch the very first fight in his career, he's shooting in for a takedown 10 seconds into the fight. And it's never changed the entire time. He's 9 years younger. He's a good wrestler. He's got tremendous Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and he's looking to finish fights with it. And he knows where he's best. He knows where he's worst, and he fights to a game plan that makes him comfortable. All those reasons, I would be on the Bryce Mitchell money line here at -150.
Yeah, I mean, this one, like I said, it's so tough for me. Like earlier in the week, I'm picking Bryce Mitchell, but I just don't feel great about this line. I feel like Barboza, definitely could be getting disrespected. What happens if Barboza comes out here and he stuffs some of these takedowns? Like, this is going to be a massive step up in competition for Bryce Mitchell, and that scares the crap out of me. This is not Matt Sales. This is not Charles Rosa. Edson Barboza, yes, he's getting up there in age, but he looked phenomenal on the scales. I think he's coming into this fight ready and motivated. And, I thought, initially I thought I'd be betting Barboza, but after looking into it, I saw the same things as you, Easy. I like that Bryce Mitchell sticks to a game plan. I like that he goes for takedowns within the first 30 seconds, but I just have a really, really bad feeling about this fight. I'm actually going to, for a best bet, I think if I was to bet this fight, and I'm absolutely not, this fight is tough, but if I was to bet it, I think I would just take this dog shot on Barboza. He's fought the much better competition. It's not even close. Bryce Mitchell, huge step up in competition. I think I'd take the +146 if anything, but like I said, I'm not betting this fight. I think it's a phenomenal fight, but I just can't put money on it. Eric, what do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, I absolutely love this fight. I think this is probably my favorite fight on the card and the one I'm most excited for. I do think it's a spot where the UFC is probably trying to put a veteran's name on the resume of somebody that they see as a future star. And I like those kind of fights. And I especially like those kind of fights when the UFC's plans go awry. And I really hope that happens here because I love Edson Barboza. And sometimes, as a longtime MMA fan, sometimes it just bums me out when the new guy beats the old guy. I don't like to see that. But I think, there were moments in the Feely fight where Feely was tagging Mitchell up a little bit. And those things keep coming back into my head. Like I was thinking, okay, I think I do favor Mitchell to win here, probably by decision. But it's like, man, if there are moments like that, if there are moments where Edson is able to tag Mitchell up and Mitchell can't get him down, it could get ugly pretty fast. But like Weezy said, yeah, so often you see guys who should be using their wrestling, and especially when you've got a bet on a guy who should be using his wrestling and isn't, and you're yelling at your TV, why are you not wrestling? Bryce Mitchell is relentless with the wrestling. I mean, yeah, like he's going to go for it. He knows where he wants it to be, and he's going to work hard to get it there. Yeah, I definitely don't. This is a fight where I'm not even really interested in placing a bet or picking a side too much. I just want to sit back and have fun with it. But if I was I would maybe sprinkle like some of the like Edson Barboza by KO round 2, by KO round 3, some of that kind of thing. But I just want to have fun and watch this fight, honestly.
Yeah, and you're going to be there as well, and you're going to enjoy a very, very good fight. This fight's awesome, but I can't bet on it. Narco, can you help me out? Is there anything that's sticking out to you on this fight from a betting perspective?
Man, I can absolutely not help you out here. Like, Bryce Mitchell has really, really good takedown, like relentless, I should say. He's relentless. He's really good on top. Like, he's like a wet blanket on top. He's nonstop. He's constantly looking to pass. Like, the guy just doesn't sit there. So, but the one thing I will say, Edson Barboza takedown defense is really, really good in the first round and his get-up game. But as the fight goes on, I think when he starts tiring a little, it catches up to him, right? And a guy like Bryce Mitchell, like, never slows down. Like, the guy's constantly going for it. But when you go back and watch the Feely fight, man, this guy is very, very uncomfortable on the feet. He does not like getting hit. And you're talking about one of the best strikers in the UFC in Edson Barboza. I mean, nasty kicks. I mean, punching. I mean, you name it. This guy is just elite striking. And I'm just uncomfortable taking any spot here between Bryce Mitchell and Barboza. I found something that, I just see that it could be a path for Mitchell later on this fight. And that's Mitchell by submission round 2, round 3. That's on FanDuel. It's +470. I just think if he gets the submission, it's not going to be early because Barboza is extremely hard to get down early and keep down. His get-ups are elite in the beginning of the fight. But as the fight goes on, like I said, he tends to get his back flattened. He's flat on his back. And that's just one thing you don't want happening with Mitchell on top. Like, if he's got you flat on your back, you're probably in trouble. So, I guess the best line here for me would be Mitchell submission, 2-3 at plus 470. But honestly, I want no piece of this fight. I just want to enjoy it and watch it just like the rest of you.
I feel you there. And yeah, that is a juicy line. Boston Nick, my dude, saying, see you guys at the live on Pub Sports Radio. Yeah, for sure. Guys, go check out the live stream on Pub Sports Radio coming up in about 13 minutes. I know Weezy's going to be on there. I might make an appearance later as well. Live betting, live commentary, always a great time. Thank you, Nick, for the dono. Let's move on to the co-main event. We do have 718 people in here. I will let you guys know the record is 758. So help us out. Smash the like button. Let's see if we can beat that record on a card like this. That would be awesome. But yeah, thank you all for hanging out. As always, we go live every week, 1 hour prior to the prelims, giving our best bet for each and every fight. Now we're going to the co-main event. Rafael dos Anjos going against Renato Moicano. Another phenomenal fight that I'm looking forward to. We'll kick it to Eric. Eric, what are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, full disclosure, I did tape this fight before Moicano came in as the replacement. I did a tiny bit of tape on him today, but not much. So I'm kind of just going by looking at the situation here more than anything. Just that, the late notice thing, the 5-round fight, the fact that he has tended to struggle against like the upper echelon competition. I did end up betting Dos Anjos' money line when it was at minus 155. I also don't mind sprinkling RDA round 4 and RDA round 5. They're at like plus 1250 and plus 1550 when I looked. I'm not sure what they're at now, but yeah, just mostly because of the situation and the circumstances. I do think this is probably a good fight for RDA.
Yeah, I like RDA here as well. I think, RDA around minus 160 was very tempting to me. I wish I would have pulled the trigger. He's now around like minus 185. And yeah, like you mentioned, I think it's more narrative based for me. Moicano, just a lot of things going against him. The dude fought a couple weeks ago. He's cutting weight, twice in the span of a month. He had like a 19 and a half hours of travel, they said, having to cut over 20 pounds in a couple days. Just a lot of things going against him. And not only that, like, this is a 5-round fight, which I think is very important to note for a couple reasons. And the first one being RDA has been training for a 5-round fight where Moicano is not. And on top of that, Moicano has not seen the 3rd round in 8 fights. I think the last time we saw a 3rd round was back against Calvin Kattar. So if this fight was 3 rounds, if Moicano was on a full camp, I think obviously we lined a lot closer, but I get why there is money coming in on RDA here. But a line that really sticks out to me is going to be the fight doesn't go to decision here at minus 130. I see minus 135 on DraftKings as well. The reason being is, like I said, this is a 5-round fight. Moicano, he's never lost by decision. Moicano is a finisher in his own right. I think if Moicano wins, it is going to be an early finish. I think it's easier said than done, though. I kind of see RDA, pushing a pace that Moicano's not going to be able to keep up with on short notice. I think he's going to break Moicano at some point. Eric, I do agree. I think those 4 or 5 sprinkles are definitely live. So, but I'm just going to take the fight doesn't go at minus 135. If this was a 3-round fight, I could get like the fight going to decision. But, those extra 2 rounds I think are huge. I see this finishing at some point in the fight, probably late, but I really do like the minus 135 there. Wheezy, what do you like for this fight here?
So here's the problem I'm having here. If I were to, handicap this fight based on whether I thought, one of these guys would win on a full camp, I'd be picking Moicano. But with all the narrative stuff, there's just no way I can bet him, when, if you bet Moicano and then he looks flat and he loses, you're going to be saying, why the hell did I bet a guy who just flew in from Brazil on Wednesday and had to cut weight and is two weeks removed from a fight, so I'm not betting this fight because I think Moicano is actually better than Dos Anjos just about everywhere with the exception of the offensive wrestling. But on short notice, just flying in, cutting weight twice in less than a month, 5-round fight, I can't touch it. So like the only bet that I could recommend is the Dos Anjos money line.
Dos Anjos money line for Wheezy. Narco, what are you looking at for this fight here?
Get the trailer ready if Rafael Dos Anjos loses, because I have a ton of money on him. I'll be honest with you, 170, 5 days notice, a guy that just fought, has to cut weight again, was, I don't know, on some island or whatever, drinking, against a guy is known for his cardio and pushing a crazy pace like RDA. Like, Moicano's win probably it's all in the first and second round, to be honest. Like outside of there, this guy's screwed. I think he's screwed regardless. I think RDA eventually breaks him either in the third, fourth, or fifth. I have those kind of props. I have RDA straight. And to be honest, because I have so much money on RDA that I'm like a little worried, but I had to play some early round props for Moicano because they're huge. And I think that's just his win equity. It's all in the early rounds. So I love RDA. I think he breaks him. Moicano's already cardio is not that good. And now he's coming on short notice, off of, just fighting, having the weight cut again. These are all huge red flags, man. Like you have to like RDA in this spot. And I just honestly don't understand why this line hasn't moved to a lot more than what it is right now.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised at the line as well. I thought it was gonna, kind of open up minus 200 and only grow from there, but it actually came in a little bit. But yeah, I'm 100% with you. There's a lot of red flags going against Moicano here. So I think you will not need a trailer, hopefully, Narco. But we'll move on to the last fight. We have the main event. Colby Covington going against Jorge Masvidal. Cannot wait for this fight. We will start with you, Eric. What are you liking for this main event here?
I think like kind of as an overarching read for this fight, what I'm thinking is I keep coming back to the idea that if you look at the way Colby fought against Usman, he was tentative and he was cautious at times because he understood that he was in there against the best fighter in the world. And I mean, we've heard Colby say that he thinks Masvidal is a journeyman and that sort of thing. And I kind of think that Colby might truly come in here thinking that Masvidal's not on his level. And I think that in order for Masvidal to really get in this fight, I think he needs to land on Colby and hurt him early, because I think Colby's a fighter who can sort of the way, his confidence and the way he's approaching the fight can sort of wax and wane in the fight based on what's happening. And I think if Masvidal is able to land some shots on him and hurt him and get in his head and make him realize, hey, I am on your level here, man, and I can win this fight, I think things could get really interesting. That said, I pretty much agree with the money line, really. I do think Covington is the better fighter. I like Covington to probably win by decision here. Could he find a late finish? Maybe, but I mean, Masvidal's obviously hard to finish. So I guess I kind of like Covington as a parlay piece here. I always have to throw out some weird props, so I was kind of looking at some other things. Jorge Masvidal by KO in round 1, last I looked, was at like plus 1,500. Not likely to happen, but if Masvidal's going to win, that could be how he does it. So, but yeah, I don't mind Covington as a parlay piece. I do think he is highly favored and probably should be.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, I don't mind it as a parlay piece as well. I also don't mind the Covington by decision minus 115, but I do have a bet on the Covington to win in either round 4, 5, or decision. I got it at minus 160. It's now minus 180 on FanDuel, and I still really like that. I mean, you're taking a minus 335, minus 333 favorite in Colby Covington, who I think, his win condition is that decision. I'd be kind of surprised if he did finish Masvidal. If he does, I think it's going to be later in the fight. So, give me the 4-5 decision minus 180. I think it's a little bit better than playing that money line there, but I do like Colby quite a bit. I think Masvidal is knockout or bust here. I just don't think Colby's going to give him many opportunities, at least early, to knock him out. So I do like Covington here to win. I do want to shout out Steve, who's on the Masvidal side, saying Masvidal under 1.5. Thank you for the dono. But yeah, I am going the other way, Steve. We'll see who is right there. Wheezy, which way are you going? Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal?
Yeah, I got that same bet that you have. Colby by round 4 or 5 or decision at minus 160. It's minus 180 now. I still think it's bettable there. That's what Colby does. He wears on people. He'll either get the finish late or win by decision. And I think that he's just going to, I think, the way that he wants to torture Jorge here, if this beef is real, if this is real, what he's going to do is just non-stop wrestle and make Jorge hate life. And that's what Colby does best. That's what I see him doing. And I see me cashing this bet after he does it successfully.
Sounds good. Narco, you find a way to play this fight?
Yeah, actually, I've been staying away from main events for the most part, but I actually like the Colby Covington unanimous decision line at plus 150.
Oh, wow.
I think it's a nice line. You can get it on Bet Online. I think on DraftKings is a little lower. It's like 120. But, if this fight goes to decision, do I see Masvidal winning 2 out of 3, 5 rounds? I highly doubt it. I think Covington, this is an ass shaving. If you ask me, he's going to just take him down. Yeah, Masvidal has decent takedown defense, but Colby's a really good wrestler. He knows how to get takedowns. He knows how to cage push. It's rinse and repeat for me here. I know he's not going to be able to hold Masvidal down for long, but when he gets up, he's going to get taken down again. So give me Colby Covington, unanimous decision, plus 150. I really like that line.
Sounds good. Looks like we are all four on the same page. But yeah, guys, that is about it. Thank you so much for hanging out. We're going to kick it around now. Erik, we'll start with you. Where can they find you? What do you have going on throughout the week in terms of content? And also, I did link your channel down in the description below, so check out Erik.
Cool. Yeah. You can find me here on YouTube at Erik Bets Fights. Like Brady said, the link is down there. I'm creeping up on 100 subscribers here, so I'm not going to beg for it, but I mean, I'd love to get a few more subscribers. I'm still kind of new to the YouTube game and looking to build up the channel a little bit. You can also find me at Erik Bets Fights on Twitter. And like I said, I will be attending the fights live today, so if you're not yet following me on Twitter, make sure you do that. I'm sure I'll post some pictures and videos and that sort of thing. So thanks a lot.
Sounds good. Narco, how about you? Where can they find you, and what do you have going on throughout the week?
Yeah, first off, thank you to everybody in chat. Appreciate you guys. You can find me on Twitter at NarcoCop, and I would appreciate it if you go to my channel, YouTube channel. It's NarcoCop MMA. Hit the subscribe button. Please join us every Friday for the Lambeau Place podcast at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah, that's about it.
There you go. Check out Narco. His link to his YouTube is also down in the description. Show him some love. And then Uncle Weezy as well. Let them know where they can find you and what you have going on throughout the week for some content.
Yeah, for sure. Check me out on my YouTube channel, Uncle Weezy. You can also check me out on MMA Engine's YouTube channel. We're creeping up on 200 subscribers there. We'll have a lot more content coming to you soon on that channel. And then I'll be on Pub Sports Radio doing the watch along here for UFC 272. Guys, check me out over there. Hey, God bless each and every one of you guys, and let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC 272.
Let's do it. You can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Instagram is DFS by the numbers. Also, please go to the link below that's in the description and check out, first of all three of these guys, but also the new MMA Engine YouTube channel. Me and Weezy are going to be on there a ton. Also, Lou and Monk. We're going to be putting out a ton of new content, so we'd really appreciate everybody to head over there as well and subscribe. Leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel. Again, I want to thank everybody for 14K subs. That means a ton to me. Next step will be 15K. The goal is to be getting that by my birthday, which is in June. I think we can do it. So thank you guys again. Let's make some money. Great card. Let's enjoy this card, and we'll see you soon. See you guys.